Into the World of Outlaws Pro Series, powered by iRacing for round number 9. That's right. It's time to tackle the Big E Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. Welcome in. My name is Ashton Smythe. I'm joined alongside two of the best of the business, Josh Lee and Tim Terry, here to call all the racing action for you tonight with the 35 best drivers ready to tackle the Big E. Like I said, 35 best drivers here ready to compete tonight in the sprint cars. 35 laps, last trip in the sprint cars for the 2024-2025 season. But Josh, these drivers have already had to qualify in, had to beat out over 150 of the best drivers. How exactly do they lock into each Monday night race?
Well, we only got one more week left of qualifying before we go into the finale at the dirt track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway next week. But tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, any Class A dirt oval licensed drivers can try and qualify for our super late model finale. That'll be next week. And of course, the highest 35 qualifying point scores are locked in to tonight's Monday main event. Ashton, we're reaching a pretty critical number tonight. We're reaching 100 unique drivers that have taken part in main event races on Monday nights with us in the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. This new format, I'm a big fan of it, Ashton, and we're reaching 100 unique drivers in a single season of an iRacing World Championship. This is a special night, something to be celebrated.
100% it is, and that just shows you the amount of talent that we have within this field of these guys who try to qualify each and every single week. Like I said, over 150 tried to lock in for tonight's feature, and that brings us to tonight where we tackle the Eldora Speedway. But Tim, we've had a great season so far, and we're still looking forward to one more great race left in the year.
It has been a busy season, Ashton, and you look at last week with Robbie Buchanan Jr. picking up that first win. We head to the dirt track at Charlotte next week to close off the season with the late model. Final race in the sprint cars this season, and we've got 35 of the best, as you mentioned. We got a couple of new faces, and we got a trio of returning faces as well.
That'll be an exciting one for sure. So let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule for tonight. Like we already said, 35 of the best drivers who are locked into tonight's show will have to vie for a last win in the sprint cars in the 2024-2025 season. Josh, qualifying is already going on. What else do we have to look forward to tonight?
Same traditional 8-lap heats, 3 of them before we get into the last chance showdowns, both of those being 12 laps apiece. 3 advanced from each of our heats, 2 advanced from each of our last chance showdowns, and as the top 8 from qualifying also lock into the feature, we get a 21-car feature race, and we're back to these kind of quick sprint feature races, 35 green flag laps with the 410 sprint cars. It is going to be quick, it is going to be fast, and drivers are going to have to think on their feet when it comes to those 35 laps. There is not a lot of time to do much around this very, very quick racetrack.
Josh, you just hit the nail on the head there. 35 laps, and cautions do not count during the heats and LCSs, only will count during the feature. Tim, qualifying is underway right now. These drivers have a couple laps to warm up on top of their already run qualifying efforts earlier on this week. We have a lot of heavy hitters in the field. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top, and then keep in mind the top 8 flip.
Yeah, and you look at the qualifying results on your screen right now. Logan Rumsey was on the bubble for until about 15 seconds to go in this session, then got bumped and bumped again. So Majulis and Rumsey on the outside looking in, and then you have those drivers that are in the top 8 in this one. J.D. Brown, Robbie Buchanan Jr., Aiden Forrester, Adam Elby, Ethan Winter, Dylan Yeager, Mike Augustine, and Matthew Powell, the top 8. So unofficially, Ashton, by the looks of our screen, it's going to be Matthew Powell on the pole tonight.
We also just saw Blake Majulis just barely miss. That comes to a strategy thing here, trying to get as many points as you can with qualifying points on the line. Someone who's not worried about points right now, Logan Rumsey leads the points as of right now, going into one last week, Tim.
Yeah, and trying to lock this up, Ashton, if it's a big night and Kendall Tucker misses out, you might be able to make it a little bit easier going into next week at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But we got some other drivers that are looking to make their way into the top 10. You see Forrester and Edens after qualifying. Aiden Forrester's now in the top 10 in points. There's an extra $200 in the line. You finish in the top 10.
Also, as of right now, only the top 6 are in mathematically to possibly win a championship. So it comes down to these last couple races as we kick off Action tonight with heat race number 1, rolling off from the pole position, the 127 machine of Blake Majulis. On his outside, the 13 car of Aiden Beerline. Row number 2 has the 85 machine of Tyler Schell and the 51 car of Darcy Walker. Row number 3 sees the 40 machine of Chase Stewart on the inside, and to his outside, 14 car of Peyton Burton. Three more drivers left in heat race number 1. Caden Berry in the 12 car, Seth Gregory in the 14 machine make up row number 4, and rounding out row number 5, James Edens in the 52. Guys, James Edens once again starting in the back of a heat race. That's not someone we're used to seeing, that purple 52 car.
And Eden's back with us tonight as well after a handful of features that he was able to make. But Tim, weather looks promising, mid-70s in the sim, 13-mile-an-hour winds, but clear blue skies over Rossburg, Ohio, and the world's greatest dirt track.
Beautiful afternoon in the sim to go racing, and heat race number 1, as you just saw, rolling on to the speedway. Like Tyler Schell sitting in position number 3, always a threat, but got to get by Majulis and Beerline on that front row to make it happen. He's in a transfer position to start off, but he's got a whole host of hungry drivers behind him. This is going to be a great heat race.
Looking forward to not just this heat, but the remainder of our heats tonight, because we do have some championship drama that could end up unfolding. And remember, this is just the start of the night. 3 heat races, 2 LCSs, and a 35-lap feature to boot as well. Don't go anywhere here on the iRacing Esports Network and Dirt Vision, because it is going to be an exciting night as the 410 sprint cars return to the Big E Eldora Speedway. There's not many more fitting tracks for 410 sprint cars, and we're about to let them loose for the first time tonight. We're glad that you're joining us on a Monday night for the virtual Eldora Speedway for round 9 of the World of Outlaws Pro Series, powered by iRacing, and the heats begin with Blake Majulis not wanting a repeat of missing the feature last week at Fairbury. He gets the early lead off of turn 2. Still side by side, back there for 4th, but the top 3 look to pull away. Beerline and Schell in tow for Majulis.
Aiden Beerline down to the bottom side, looking to pick up the lead, and Blake Majulis will try to cross him back over down the back straightaway. Tyler Schell looking for a place to race. As you mentioned, top 3 breaking away here.
Here comes some sliders as well. Majulis sends it back on Beerline. Beerline sends it back on Majulis. Tyler Schell watching from 3rd, trying to develop that top cushion. Looks like after qualifying, after a bit of practice, not much track evolution. A little bit of grooving down on the bottom, Tim, and a little bit of grooving right there into turn 1. But the cushion is not developed yet, but these drivers are not shying away from the wall.
No, they are not. Battle for the lead continues on. Your top 3 going at it. Trying not to let Chase Stewart in, and sitting in position number 4 is Majulis back to the lead. Here comes Beerline back to the bottom side, trying to make it happen again for the top spot.
Get a good look at Darcy Walker as well, the Flota-Shock driver from Washington, making their 2nd appearance on a Monday night this season. But for the lead of heat race number 1, it was Majulis. Now goes back to Beerline by just a tire. Now Majulis goes back to the bottom. If any contact is made here, Tim, that could open the door for Chase Stewart to walk away with a feature spot, and we almost just had some contact.
You're going to ride on board with Chase Stewart as he watches the top 3 ahead, trying to make something happen here. Needs 1 spot as they come to the white flag.
Chase Stewart in tow, looking to make his 4th feature race of the season. He rides the cushion, but how is the heat race win gonna go? Majulis back to the bottom, send to the inside from Stewart, but too little too late. Majulis, Beerline, and Schell come across the line. Top 3 exactly how they started heat race number 1, with Majulis not repeating what happened last week at Fairbury. He qualifies for the feature race tonight. Aiden Beerline, Tyler Schell, the top 3. Chase Stewart, Darcy Walker, Seth Gregory, James Edens, Caden Berry, and Peyton Burton Ashton. They're all going to head their way into the last chance showdown.
Wow, guys, what a way to kick off the night. That was nothing short of exciting. Slider after slider after slider. And keep in mind, points are on the line. The top 8 get qualifying points, starting with 25 for the person who qualifies on the pole. And then second on to 23 points. Third gets 22. And Tim, heat race points are on the line as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They are 15 to win, all the way down to 7. You got to get into qualifying if you want those big points, but heat races will give you a little bit of a consolation.
They will. You also get points as well for the main race. 100 for a win, 95 for second, 92 for third. You also have some cash money on the line tonight. 300 goes to the winner, 200 to second place, and 100 for the driver who finishes in third tonight. and someone who's hoping to come home with a win. The 127 machine of Blake Majulis. Wow, that was an exciting heat race. Let's talk about your season so far, though. You've had, a couple podium finishes, lots of top 10 runs. Do you feel like tonight's the night that you're actually going to come home with a win?
I'd probably not starting too deep, but hopefully just get a good run here and finish out the season.
Right. Well, good luck, and we'll see you in the feature. Blake Majulis picks up heat race number 1 win. Didn't look too happy after how that heat race went. Big battles already happening, drama unfolding, and that was just heat race number 1. Still have lots of exciting action coming towards you. And here's the starting grid for heat race number 2. Your current points leader sitting on the pole position, Logan Rumsey in the 41 machine, and to his outside, the 49 car of Ryan Avila. Row number 2 sees Loic Bernier in the 74 car and the 21 machine of Blake Carrick. Row number 3 on the inside is the 07 of Stephen Gaines, and to his outside is the 7 of Connor Dudek. Row number 4 sees the 17 machine of Ty Shoblock, and to his outside, Wyatt Schuart in the number 1 car. And rounding out this field for tonight in row number 5 is Tyler Orr in the 3 machine. Guys, once again, going into heat race number 2, lots of exciting action still to come. And I still can't get over that first heat race. What a great way to kick off. And, that's what makes this place so special. Eldora Speedway is unlike any other. 8 laps for heat race number 2. Top 3 advance. Then we have heat race number 3. Then it's time for last chance showdown. It's 12 laps apiece, and we take 2. And that makes the 21 car field for the 35 green flag lap feature race around the Big E. Guys, it's been exciting so far. Looking forward to another exciting one.
And Ashton, I mentioned drama earlier, and this is exactly what I was talking about. Points leader Logan Rumsey in this heat race, not locked into the feature until he finishes top 3 in this heat. If he doesn't, he goes forward to the last chance showdown to then try and qualify for the feature. It's not all red lights and sirens yet for the 41, but a foot wrong here could mean championship implications. What does Rumsey do? He gets the whole shot off of turn 4 to the green flag of heat race number 1 and tries to assume the lead as quickly as possible. Bernier, Avila settling from there. Gaines and Carrick side by side to 3.
Yeah, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact for that 4th place position, but they get it sorted out. Top 3 single file, as we saw in heat race number 1, trying to settle it amongst themselves. But Stephen Gaines, another one of those drivers, looking to throw a Hail Mary this season to get into the top 10 in points, needs a good run here tonight.
Bernier and Avila almost made contact off of 4. That could have been a big moment, but back up to the cushion goes Bernier. And Ryan Avila back to 3rd. He's got Stephen Gaines, who's trying to chase him down from behind. Gaines with a handful of feature races that he has made this season. Only one of them has been in the sprint cars. That was back at Houston Speedway.
There's Stephen Gaines, you're right on board with him, trying to track down Ryan Avila into the 49. That is the transfer position. Got to find a way to get by. We're almost halfway through.
We stay on board with Gaines as we now ride inside of this 410 sprint car, and you can see just how fast these drivers are going around the Eldora Speedway. Back to turn 1, 3 laps to go. Logan Rumsey's looking in the rearview mirror and loving what he's seeing. Not a lot of sliders being thrown by Bernier or Avila. Everybody now in the top 3 at least, Tim, riding around waiting for the checkered flag. Gaines wants to make something happen, and so does Ty Shoblock with a big move for 5th.
Yeah, they're moving back there for 5th on back, side by side for that spot. Try to get a good spot in an LCS. Top 4 single file. They come to the white flag, and it's all Logan Rumsey up front.
Logan Rumsey is going to qualify for the feature, and what he needed to do for his championship hopes. Rumsey wins heat 2 in the exact fashion that he needed to. Loic Bernier, Ryan Avila back from there are your top 3 in our heat race number 2 results. Gaines, Shoblock, Carrick, Dudek, Schuhart, and Orr will have to race out of the last chance showdown. But Alpha Industries there, Ashton with a top 2 finish in that heat race, and Logan Rumsey is living to see another feature race and maybe extend his points lead depending on what happens when we get to our 35 lap feature later on tonight.
Yeah, great run for the Alpha Industry teammates there, and there's a lot on the line. Like we said, Logan Rumsey currently leading points going into week 9 right now, but $10,000 goes to the champion, $4,000 to second, $2,000 for third. They'll also be recognized the 2025 Dirt Car Nationals at Volusia in just a couple weeks, along with many other things, an official World of Outlaws trophy. And like I mentioned earlier, there's also money on the line for tonight's race, $300 for first, $200 for second, and $100 for third. So lots of guys are hoping to pick up a little bit of extra cash and hopefully take the championship at the end of the year. And speaking of that, the guy who's leading the championship points right now, Logan Rumsey, going into tonight. You'll start 10th in the feature, but are you thinking about championship points, or are you just more worried about picking up a win here tonight at the Big E?
Well, yeah, definitely after we kind of, I mean, we still qualified pretty good, but just a couple thousands here and there could have been on the pole of the feature, not in the heat race. So it just kind of puts us back there, and kind of I'm just going to have to ride around, and hopefully don't get wrecked or anything. We can bring home a good points night. And that's really all we have to do, and next week should be pretty easy.
Well, congratulations, and we'll see you in the feature.
Yep, thank you.
Logan Rumsey, everybody. Picked up heat race number 2 win, but a lot more on the line for him. Points, guys, we're in week number 9 now. Just one more week. And we also have one more heat race on the docket for tonight. And out of the Majula C Speed Shop, rolling off from the pole position, the 33 machine of Evan C. Known as outside the number 1 car of Kenny Hoffman. Row number 2 sees the 960 of Sean English and the 00 of Kendall Tucker. On the inside of row number 3 is the 5 machine of Braden Carter and the 92 of Tristan Let me make sure I say that one right. He's new with us this week. Ladisser. And row number 4, Hayden Carbo on the 1 and the 9 car of Tanner Miller. Rounding out the number 5, Kellen Sabo in the number 2. Guys, we just heard it. You know, there's some new guys in this heat race this week. It'll be interesting to see how they run with some of our veterans.
4 drivers out of our handful that qualified tonight are brand new to the series, making their first start tonight, and that reached us to that 100 drivers that qualified for our number of main events on Monday nights in the World of Outlaws Pro Series, powered by iRacing. But tonight, one more heat race left, and a lot of fast drivers in this one, Tim, especially Evan C., who's qualified on the pole so far. Both of our heat races have been won by the pole drivers.
You want to talk about a guy that has a stacked resume? Hayden Cardwell's back in the series in car number 1. Starting back there with Ladisser and Miller, Tanner Miller again. There's another driver that we're very familiar with on Monday evenings, just not familiar with them this season.
Cardwell is one of those drivers that is brand new to the series this year. Not brand new to World of Outlaws racing on iRacing by any means, but the green flag is out for the last heat race of the night. Evan C. gets the whole shot to 1. Kenny Hoffman, Sean English back from there, but behind Kendall Tucker, second place in the championship, is outside of the transfer spots.
Yeah, you got a little bit of time here, but you got to go if you're Kendall Tucker. Get yourself in the top 3 and don't get yourself in a mess in a last chance showdown. With the way they've been going this season, Josh, highly unpredictable. We got a battle for lead.
I've been talking about drama for Logan Rumsey. What about drama for Kendall Tucker, who could lose out on his championship hopes right here and right now? Evan C. with the lead. Hoffman second. English goes low, but not enough for the cushion that is so powerful here at Eldora Speedway. Even if it's not fully developed yet, riding the wall is the place to be.
Cardwell got right reared at the back of this field. Josh, he's going to a last chance showdown. That is huge for a driver that has a stacked resume in this series, as Sean English holds on to that 3rd place spot. He's had a couple of good runs this season, Josh, a couple of heartbreaks trying to hold on, but he's got Kendall Tucker behind.
And Kendall Tucker needs to throw everything at the wall to get this transfer spot. We're only going to take the top 3 from this heat to the feature. Sean English, looking in the rearview mirror, wants to keep Tucker behind, but across the line for 2 to go. Kendall Tucker might be too far back. He's going to have to try and send him some sliders.
Going to need to try to do something here to get a little bit closer towards the front of this field and get yourself locked in and not go to a last chance showdown, but he's running out of time. White flag is out.
Evan C, Kenny Hoffman, well and good at the front of the field. The eyes are on the transfer, but it's not going to be enough for Tucker, who tried, but it won't be enough. Second place in the championship, Kendall Tucker is going to the last chance showdown. Evan C and Kenny Hoffman came across the line almost side by side, but Evan C grabs the final heat race victory of the evening, and all three of our pole sitters have won their respective heats. Hoffman and English move on to the feature. Tucker, Carter, Miller, Lattiser, Sabo, and Cardwell advance into last chance showdowns. And Ashton, I just said again, second place in the points. Has to race out of an LCS. This could mean championship over, or championship almost over, as we take a look at the points that Logan Rumsey and hopefully Kendall Tucker are going to earn tonight.
Yeah, Josh, exactly. Points are on the line. There's not as many points awarded the farther back you get in the heat races, and now Kendall Tucker hopefully has to make it into the feature, and then is going to not have as good of a points night as Logan Rumsey, who's locked into the feature. This is huge, guys, moving into the championship, so we'll see how all of that breaks down in the LCSs, which will start in just a couple moments. Eldora Speedway has been nothing short of exciting, as we'll catch up with the winner of heat race number 3, Evan C out of Majula C Speed Shop. You guys always have these race cars dialed. How did that 33 car handle out there around the Big E?
Yeah, felt pretty good in the heat. I was pretty confident we'd have good pace, stay out in the lead and win the heat there. And I felt like our race pace is pretty good. We just missed out on the invert by like 200s, I think, and on getting pole. But we have some teammates that'll be starting up front, and coming from 11th, I think we can make it up there if the race goes our way. So we'll just have to see and try and stay out of any trouble, and I think we can make it up there.
Well, congratulations, and we'll see you in the feature.
Yep, thank you.
Evan C locked into the A main with picking up heat race win, and the fastest car from earlier on, JD Brown, picked up the pole position, but now you will be battling the invert. You will roll off in the feature from 8th. How are you feeling going into 35 laps around Eldora Speedway?
All right, we'll see what we have. Starting from 8th isn't the most ideal spot, but got some qualifying points there, and we'll see what we can do. Just try to figure our way through the field. I think we got a good car. We're good in the qualifier races, so see what we can do. Hopefully make ourselves to the front and try to just get some good points again, try to lock in a top 4 in points by the end of the year.
JD Brown, we will see you in the feature.
Thank you.
The driver who picked up the fastest time earlier on tonight will now have to start in the 8th position for the feature later on. That is huge, guys. And something else that is super exciting and you don't want to miss out on, the World of Outlaws game is live now, guys. I've played it. It is super fun.
I am ready for this to launch on Steam, Tim. I don't know about you. February 5th. I'm counting down the days when I can finally put my wheel on my desk and go racing in World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24. Don't have any Xboxes, don't have any PS4s or PS5s. I'm looking forward to when this launches on desktop computers.
Yeah, much of the same. I've got it on my wish list, getting ready to do some racing. It started February 5, as you mentioned. But if you are not like me and Josh and have a console that's listed on the screen, go get it, grab it now, and have some fun slinging some dirt with the World of Outlaws Dirt Racing on Xbox, PlayStation, and Ashton coming soon to Steam.
Yeah, that's going to be super exciting. I have an Xbox. I've had the fortune to be able to play the game, and you do not want to miss out. There's 11 different disciplines of racing, 49 different tracks to tackle. You can play career mode as your favorite outlaw driver, and there's so many new things this year, including helmet tear-offs, adjustable wings for sprint cars and micros. You also have the opportunity, new this year, the driving school from the World of Outlaws legend himself, Donnie Schatz. Oswego Speedway just got released, and also 25 alternate schemes for your favorite outlaw. So many great things that come from this game. I mean, there's really not more you can ask for, guys.
Not more you could ask for in the World of Outlaws Dirt Racing game as well. Also, not a lot you could ask for as we get ready to go racing the first last chance showdown action.
Exactly, and here is the starting grid on your screen. Rolling off from the pole position, the 40 machine of Chase Stewart, and on his outside, Kendall Tucker in the 00. Row number 2 sees the 17 car of Ty Schoblock and the 14 of Seth Gregory. Row number 3 on the inside is the 9 machine of Tanner Miller, and on his outside, Connor Dudek in the 7 car. Row number 4 sees Caden Berry in the 12, and Kellen Sabo in the 2, and rounding out the field, Tyler Orr in the 3. Guys, 12 laps to lock in from here. It's been an exciting night so far, and I expect nothing less out of these LCSs.
And I don't think it's hyperbole to say that the championship is really going to show its hand right here, because Kendall Tucker is on the outside of the front row. He's already in a transfer spot. We're going to take the top 2 out of both of our LCSs and put them forward to the feature. If Kendall Tucker does not qualify for this feature tonight, it is going to be not only harder to win at Charlotte next week, near impossible to win. Tucker gets away in second. Chase Stewart gets away with the lead. They're shuffling back from there. Touch of contact, touch of 4 wide off of turn 2. But to the inside for the lead goes Tucker. Big slider from Tanner Miller for third. Contact with a 17 of Schoblock.
Tanner Miller trying to make that move in that red number 9, but up in front we continue to see the crossovers, the 00 of Kendall Tucker trying to go back to the bottom side of Stewart. They are side by side for the lead, but they are building just a little bit of a gap.
Tucker doesn't want to be on the bubble. He wants to be in the lead, but Stewart keeps sending right back on him for the race lead. The battle for third back from there is getting interesting as Tanner Miller goes to the inside, looking to get by Ty Schoblock. They almost made contact and coming up to the stripe on lap 1. They almost made contact again through 2.
Got to remember up front, Chase Stewart has nothing to lose. Kendall Tucker sitting in position number 2 is second in the championship standings. He's got to play a little bit of offense here to get up to Stewart. Keep an eye back beyond and see where they are. There goes the 00 up the hill.
Kendall Tucker has qualified for every single feature so far this season. He has not finished outside the top 10 in a feature all season long. That is why he is second in the points, but he's still looking for that crucial first win. If he qualifies for this feature, Tim, those live points are going to go in the favor still of the 41, but the 00 already has made up some points by competing in this LCS and being feature eligible.
Yeah, you got to get there. You got to make it happen, and Kendall Tucker is doing that right now. Past the halfway point in this 12-lap affair. Battle for third on back. Tanner Miller's got by Chase Stewart. They're battling it out for position number 3 on back, but it's not the transfer. There goes Stewart.
Contact made and flipping up and over in turn 1 goes Chase Stewart. He led at the beginning of this LCS, but now he is going to be 9th and out as Ty Schoblock assumes the last transfer spot now. Schoblock qualified for Lead Sport, qualified for Lincoln in the 410 sprint cars. He has not qualified since that Lincoln race. Now in second, looks for a transfer.
And Tanner Miller in behind. First time we've seen Tanner all season long, but he's a veteran of this series. So keep an eye on the 9 as he tries to reel him in, but he's running out of time. This time by, they'll come to the white.
The Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania driver in third looks to get by the Ohio driver of Ty Schoblock. To the bottom goes the 9, but it's not going to be enough as he goes on the defense into 3 and 4. And Kendall Tucker keeps the championship hopes alive and will qualify for the feature. He's going to be starting pretty much out back, but he made up positions last week at Fairbury. Can he do it again tonight? Last chance showdown number 1 is done. Tucker, Schoblock advance to the feature. Tanner Miller, Connor Dudek, Caden Berry, Tyler Orr, Kellen Sabo, Seth Gregory, and Chase Stewart all have been eliminated from our proceedings tonight, Tim, as we get ready for last chance showdown number 2.
One more to come. We are going to take the 2 drivers and move them in and call it a day with the field, and everybody else is going to have to watch in the house and get ready to qualify for the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's all that's left. We've got one race after this evening. It's a 50-lap affair. Next Monday night, you can qualify Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to get yourself in to the season finale for this series. And it has been a great season. As you mentioned, Josh, we've had over 100 drivers make their way into this, and I'm sure we're going to see some new faces next week as we get ready to go racing at the finale.
And we are going to swap back to those late models as well, Tim, to finish out the season at the dirt track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. But we mentioned Last Chance Showdown number 2 is on deck. Tim, let's meet those drivers.
Yeah, Stephen Gaines in the 07, trying to get a top 10 effort out of this season. Needs some points, needs to get into the feature. He'll roll off in first with Darcy Walker to the outside in the 51. Braden Carter in car number 5 will roll off in third. Blake Carrick looked really good in his heat race. First time we've seen him this season. Rolls off to the outside of row number 2. James Edens has to go. The 52 car is going to roll from position number 5 and needs a few spots to make his way up into that top 2 with Tristan Lattiser from Ontario to the outside in row number 3. Wyatt Schuhart in car number 1 to the outside, the 14 of Peyton Burton. And this one, Josh, surprises me. Had some issues in his heat race, kind of got right reared. Hayden Cardwell will start from the trunk, and there's only 2 that are going to the dance. He's been here before, but he's going to have to get up on the wheel.
Got a long way to go if he wants to qualify for another feature race. We haven't seen any of Hayden Cardwell yet this season, and the first time that he is on track with us on a Monday night, he's gonna have to fight out a Last Chance Showdown. But this is the last opportunity for drivers to advance into the feature race tonight. We'll have our 21 drivers locked in for the feature after this Last Chance Showdown from the world's greatest dirt track, the Eldora Speedway. It's been an exciting night, and the last Chance Showdown that we just had with Kendall Tucker grabbing that checkered flag, that was the first race tonight that the leader, or the pole sitter I should say, did not cross the start-finish line at the end of the race in first. But there is Hayden Cardwell as he gets ready to go. Tim, shotgun on the field. We know he can do it. The question is, can he do it tonight?
Multiple wins, championships. When you talk about drivers in this series, we haven't seen Alex Bergeron yet this year. I think that's the only one when you look at big names that we haven't seen, besides the guy that used to drive the 07, drives the 1 this evening, of Hayden Cardwell. As the field will get ready to go, we'll watch Cardwell from the trunk. We'll watch everybody else in front of him try to go at it. We'll take the final 2 to the big dance.
And away we go for one final time this season, or this tonight. We're gonna put drivers through to the feature race. Stephen Gaines is on the loud pedal and gets away with the lead. Braden Carter just took second. Now James Edens wants it. He wants the transfer, and he's gonna get it off too, but he's gonna make him fight for it. Here's the slider from the 52 in turn 4 to grab the transfer, but we're stacked up with the top 5.
Side by side for position number 3. James Edens trying to pull away. Stephen Gaines trying to do the same thing as they battle for third on back. The accordion comes back together. Edens looking at Gaines for the lead.
Oh, and contact! Edens went all the way down to the apron. He's still trying to lose that car. The 5 goes to the transfer as we ride on board with Blake Carrick. Edens tries to send another slider in. Carrick hits the wall. Now hits Edens in third.
Up the hill, going to lose a lot of momentum there. Now has to chase back down Walker and the rest in front of him. Gaines is gone, Josh, but the rest of the field is fighting for that final transfer spot.
I said it was contact that sent Edens down to the inside wall. It was actually a mistake on Edens' part. He came up and hit the wall off turn 4. That sent him to the apron. But what a rebound from the 52. That's like fumbling the football and immediately recovering it. He's still in a transfer. Contact behind is Lattiser trying to get up to the transfer.
Lattiser moves to position number 4, 3 wide, and behind them trying to hold on to the spot. One more slider. That's Cardwell up the hill into Lattiser.
Where did Cardwell come from? We're halfway through this LCS, and Cardwell is trying to cut his way through the traffic. He's still in 7th. Little bit of contact with the one at Schuhart underneath of Cardwell. As Cardwell rides the wall again, 3 wide up the road as they all are in a Hornet's nest now. Let's go on board with the champion.
Cardwell down to the bottom side, but look up ahead. We get side by side for the lead as well. This is a jam-packed LCS. It's anybody's race. Here comes Edens.
Edens to the bottom, goes for the lead, will get it over Stephen Gaines. Gaines goes back to the bottom. Carrick has 3rd, Lattiser has 4th. Carter now has 5th as Cardwell tries to fight back from P7 now as Walker gets by. But for the lead with 3 to go, Edens has the spot. Gaines has the 2nd transfer position. Carrick trying to catch up as we look at the battle for 3rd.
We saw that mistake out of Edens earlier. You can't make any of those now as we've got a couple laps to go. There goes that battle in behind. It's Carrick up the hill, and it's now for second. Here comes Gaines back to the bottom side. Edens trying to pull away at the white.
That was a big move from Carrick, who's trying to qualify for his first feature and his first main event appearance this season. Goes back to the bottom. Gaines with the lead. Edens goes down low. 3 wide potentially for the transfer. Edens back down. Contact for the win. Gaines gets sent up the track and out of the feature with a slider at the end from the 92 Lattiser. It was too little too late, and Edens and Carrick in a spectacular finish of the LCS move on to the feature. That is what Eldora is all about. That is what the series is all about. And Edens and Carrick are going to live to fight in the 35-lap feature. Lattiser and Gaines fought all they could on that final lap, but did not get it. Walker, Cardwell, Carter, Schuhart, and Burton are going home. Surprisingly, most out of that list is Hayden Cardwell. In his first appearance of the season, will not race in the feature. If you wanted more excitement, well, stay right here, because coming up next is 35 laps of sprint car racing in the feature. You're tuning in to the World of Outlaws Pro Series, powered by iRacing.
Dirt Racing 24 is available now.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back into the World of Outlaws Pro Series, powered by iRacing, round number 9 at Eldora Speedway. Last trip for the 2024-2025 season in the sprint cars, and it has been nothing short of exciting. And, you know, that's exactly what you expect out of Eldora Speedway. You know, Josh, it's been a great night so far. You know, heat race is done, LCS is done. It's now time for feature racing action.
I've caught my breath. I've had some water. I'm ready to go for 35 laps of sprint car feature racing tonight. If that LCS taught us anything about what we're about to see in this feature, this could potentially be one of the most exciting races of the season. And remember what happened back at Lincoln, that photo finish. Could we see that again in these 410 sprint cars? Only time's going to tell. This is going to be an exciting one and going to be one to remember for the final sprint car round of the year.
35 green flag laps coming up. Cautions will count during these ones, or they will happen, but they will not count towards the 35 lap distance. But before we take to the track for the feature, let's take a deeper dive into Eldora Speedway. Tim, you know, it's kind of different than what we've seen this year, and it's proved to be super exciting so far tonight.
Yeah, half-mile track opened in 1953, and they have put on some great races here. And even in this series, when it comes to the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing, whether it is a sprint car or a late model, the most recent sprint car winner here on the Pro Series is a name we mentioned a little bit earlier on tonight, Alex Bergeron. Haven't seen him yet this season, but maybe he'll whip out a car and come race with us next week at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. By the way, no rework after the qualifiers. They are now out there for practice, getting a couple of laps in, but this racetrack, Ashton, has provided us with some great racing action.
You know, that's exactly what you expect out of Eldora Speedway. We've seen so much drama on the racetrack as well. And that's what you can expect out of, you know, the Big E. It's also home of the famous Kings Royal, among many other crown jewels in dirt racing. If you know dirt racing, you know Eldora Speedway, and tonight is proving exactly why it's become so famous and gotten its such big name.
And talking about the iRacing history real quick, Ashton, about this racetrack, it was also one of the first day one dirt tracks on iRacing.
Well, there you go. Did not know that. That's awesome. And, you know, so hopefully these drivers have had lots of laps around here, and we'll see what happens tonight. But before we go into the feature tonight, guys, like I said earlier, it's round number 9. One more left after this, late models at the dirt track next week. These are the points as they run right now. Logan Rumsey in the lead right now. Kendall Tucker in an LCS, 79 points behind. 100 points goes to the winner of this feature, and behind that, 62 points difference for finishing in 21st. That is a large chunk of change. It can make a difference here tonight as we get ready to roll off for our 35-lap feature. Let's take a look at the starting grid. Rolling off from the pole position, the 1 car of Matthew Powell, and to his outside out of Danville, Pennsylvania, the 19 machine of Mike Augustine. Row number 2, the 48 of Dylan Yeager from Hamilton Township, New Jersey, and all the way from Australia, the 39 machine of Ethan Winter. Row number 3 sees Alpha's Industries 74 car of Adam Elby, and Majula C Speed Shop 20 car of Aiden Forrester. Row number 4, last week's winner with a new team this week, Tanner Pettit Racing 31 of Robbie Buchanan Jr. And who's outside, the man who set quick time earlier on today, out of Alpha Industries, the 14 car of JD Brown. Row number 5, out of Majula C Speed Shop, the 127 machine of Blake Majulis, and on his outside, current points leader out of Alpha Industries camp, the 41 car of Logan Rumsey. To the inside of row number 6, out of Chesney, South Carolina, 33 of Evan C. And to his outside, the 13 machine of Adam Bierlein from Woodford, Virginia. Row number 7 in the 74, all the way from Quebec, Canada, Loic Bernier, and on his outside, the 1 machine of Kenny Hoffman out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. Row number 8 on the inside sees the 85 of Tyler Shell out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania. And on his outside, Ryan Avila in the 49 car out of Lemoore, California. Row number 9 in the inside, the 960 of Sean English for Flotashocks Racing Camp. And on his outside, the 00 machine of Kendall Tucker from Majula C Speed Shop. Row number 10 on the inside, 52 from Santa Rosa, California, James Edens. And on his outside, out of Chillicothe, Ohio, the 17 car of Ty Showblock. And rounding out the field tonight from Tanner Pettit Racing, the 21 car of Blake Carrick. Guys, it has been an exciting one so far, and it all comes down to this. 35 laps around Eldora Speedway, and the last sprint car trip for the 2024-2025 season. Who is going to pick up the win here tonight?
Weather's about the same as we had when we began the night, but the track is not. No rework going into this feature race. The drivers will deal with the track conditions as they are. But the field comes across the start-finish line. One more pace lap around the Big E as we get ready to go racing at Auto Racing Showcase since 1954. The rubber is in the racetrack, specifically down on the bottom. What will the cushion do? Where will the drivers choose to run? And I think the most important question everybody's asking is, where will the championship stand at the checkered flag of tonight's feature race? We're ready to go racing for one final time this season in the 410 sprint cars. Guess what? It's feature time from Eldora. Let's go! With a big start for Matthew Powell. He leads the field to 1. Goes all the way up to the top of the racetrack. They're fighting behind from there. 3 wide, a couple of rows deep as they enter turn 3. Contact for second, and around goes the 48. Couple of contacts from there, and the first yellow flag is out. Dylan Yeager got a tap and went around and is out of this race.
Yeah, I got a little shot from Adam Elby, and it looked like, for the most part, Josh, that everybody was going to split the 48 of Jaeger, but there was one driver that just did not get there, and that is going to trigger our first caution flag of the evening. Yellow laps do not count, so we will complete lap number 2 when we do go back to green. But Dylan Jaeger, we talked about JD Brown earlier. JD was talking about locking up a top 4 position. Got a chance at a top 3, and this might help him here as we take a look at the replay.
It was North Bernier that came in and hit the 48. There's the contact. Matt Elby, there's the contact from Bernier. Eden's got a piece. Doesn't look like much damage to that 410, if any at all. But that seemed to be just a handful of cars involved in that incident, and very easy for that contact to happen, specifically when everybody's bunched up at the start of the race. But nonetheless, we get to take a collective exhale. Yellow flag comes out for the first time tonight. Remember, these caution laps will not count. Only laps under the green flag are going to count towards our total lap count tonight. And Tim, let's talk points real fast, because obviously we're watching Kendall Tucker. We're watching points leader Logan Rumsey. 55 points separating the two entering this feature race. And there's a 68-point swing, or a 62-point swing, I should say, between first place and 21st. Now, with Dylan Jaeger out of this race, 21st, unachievable right now, but there's a big point swing that could happen if Logan Rumsey was to run into issues tonight. And he's running mid-pack.
We have seen some comebacks in these iRacing Championship Series before, but we'll see how this one shakes out and see where everything settles before we head to Charlotte next week. But Matthew Powell going to start this thing up in front with Mike Augustine and a few others still trying to figure out what's going on. And you see that in the live points currently 76 between your top 2.
Rumsey in 9th, Tucker in 16th. We'll keep you updated with the points as they run throughout tonight's feature race. But Matthew Powell is back on the loud pedal from first. He leads the field back to turn 1. Ethan Winter tried to send a slider in on Mike Augustine for P2. That did not work out how he was looking for. Adam Elby goes back to the bottom in 3, looking for 3rd on the 39 of Ethan Winter. They work side by side, but they go single file back to 1.
Elby still trying to look down to that bottom side, trying to make something happen. And the thing that we do see here, albeit with that single file formation, they've got a place to race, at least up in the top 5. Forster trying to look a little bit to the bottom side of Elby, trying to make something happen, but top 5 all locked up at the top.
Cushion has been the lane that everybody has seemed to want to run all night long, and especially with the track degradation where it's at right now, that Cushion is looking like the place to be. But Mike Augustine goes low. This is what we're going to see through the feature tonight, Tim, is that drivers are going to need to do what other drivers aren't to make passes. Case in point, the race for 15th. Eden's up top. The 21 goes all the way down to the bottom. That's Blake Carrick.
As they battle up in front, the lead continues to be Powell and Augustine. Augustine has made all these shows so far this season, trying to lock down a victory, but back and forth with Powell.
Race for the lead is on. Race for 15th is on as drivers continue to move forward. Kendall Tucker is in this battle right here, currently running 15th. He has not moved much from where he began this race. He has not moved at all from where he began this race in P15. Now he looks to the inside of Aiden Beerline for 14th. He goes all the way down low, 2-for-1 special, and he is going to get it for the moment, but the momentum bleeds off right back to 15th and back to square one for Kendall Tucker.
And they continue to fight back there in the middle of the pack. Tucker trying to make something happen as they go up the racetrack. Continues to be Powell up in front, but it's starting to get a little bit more crowded up there. Adam Elby begins to move.
Kendall Tucker trying to make moves work. He does there, up to P13. But Logan Rumsey up into P5 right now is where Rumsey needs to be. Battle for seconds on. Slider sent from Aiden Forster in the 20. Augustine has to go back low. He goes all the way down low to try and get second away from Adam Elby as well as they fight on through turn 3. Elby grabs second place back. It's all Matthew Powell still at the front.
Yeah, Powell's trying to hold on to this thing, but Elby, Augustine, Forster, and now Logan Rumsey a part of this battle as the 74 goes down to the bottom side. They're almost street wide behind them.
Sliders being sent throughout the field, specifically towards the back. Adam Elby just made a mistake and hit the wall on the outside. Aiden Forster sends another one in to try and keep third. 3 wide for that third spot, and look who's down low. That's Logan Rumsey going from 5th to almost second place with that slider. Forster goes back low. Augustine still in this battle. So is Ethan Winter. Top 6 very close together as Matthew Powell tries to pull away to the 2 to 3 tenths.
There's a fine line for Rumsey in this championship chase. You got to keep in the top 5. You got to finish this race to give yourself a good chance or an easy night heading into Charlotte. But he's not racing like he's racing for points as you ride on board to try to see those top 2. What are they going to do up in front?
Driver down low is Dylan Yeager, looking like a non-wing sprint car, but remember he got involved in that incident on lap number 1. We're on board with Logan Rumsey, the Pennsylvania native, running from 4th right now as Forster goes to the inside. Rumsey's in the wall, slight tap to the outside with those right side tires, but right back to the bottom and right back to 3rd as Adam Elby goes for the lead on Powell. Only 18 laps to go. These sprint car features go by in the blink of an eye.
Great race for the lead, great race for 3rd as they continue to click off laps. Powell down to the bottom side, Adam Elby to the top side, trying to get himself a win in this one. Elby now back to 2nd, goes back down to the bottom side.
Adam Elby to the lead. Does he keep it? Powell's been sending sliders back for the lead every single time that Elby has gotten the lead. This time by, Elby's going to get to keep it for just a little bit. His best finish of the season has been 9th. Elby looks for feature race win number 1, but Powell wants to get it, and he's going to turn for the lead. Adam Elby and Matthew Powell come together, and guess who gets the best end of the deal? It's Logan Rumsey to the race lead by 6 tenths.
We stay green flag racing, and it allows Logan Rumsey to now control this race. Aiden Forster in behind position number 2. I think there was a little bit of a gap where those guys thought, Josh, hey, there might be a caution, but there's no yellow. Forster has to get back up on the wheel, and there's Kendall Tucker.
It's a game of inches in these sprint cars, and unfortunately for Powell and unfortunately for Elby, they misjudged it by just a hair. That also helped Kendall Tucker because Adam Elby is going backwards. There's a handful of cars that are going backwards, and right now Kendall Tucker is up into 8th. He needs to stop the bleeding as much as he can. As long as Rumsey's in the race lead, doesn't really matter what Tucker can do from back here. Rumsey's going to keep the points lead. He needs to try and gain as many points as possible.
Tucker trying to lock down 2nd, at least in the standings, by the looks of the way this is going. But in the next 10 laps, a lot can change. J.D. Brown and Kendall Tucker make contact. Kendall Tucker's going to pick up the spot. J.D. Brown's going to try to get back at him, and Ryan Avila wants a couple of spots into this.
That was close. It almost looked like the contact we saw in the second lap chance showdown of the night. Live points as they run. 75 points is the swing right now with Rumsey and Tucker. Tucker P7. Here comes J.D. Brown, who qualified quick time tonight. Back to the bottom to try and get 7th from Tucker. But right now, Rumsey leading the way by 0.3 of a second over Aiden Forster. Tucker has nobody in front of him for 7/10. Next up the road is Blake Majulis.
Oh, and there goes J.D. Brown to the wall. Had a little contact in behind. Going to lose a couple of spots out of this one. And J.D. Brown's going to go backwards and lose more ground in the 3rd place in the point standings as well. Keep your eye on that. Oh, by the way, Aiden Forster's chipping away at the lead. He is there on Logan Rumsey.
The point swing from 1st to 2nd is 5 points. This could be beneficial for Kendall Tucker, especially if that 0-0 can't gain more positions. It's a championship battle on our hands now. Rumsey looks for feature race win on the season for him. He's won before, won twice before, one late model, one sprint car. Looks for feature race win number 3 tonight. He's leading. Forster behind by 0.4 back to 3.
This one is not over as you ride on board with those two. Forster got it down to about 0.2 of a second. It's back up to almost a half second. Can he get back there and make something happen in these final couple of laps? They get a 2nd on Evan C. and the rest of the field. This is a 2-horse race up front.
Rumsey in the lead, Forster in 2nd. All eyes are on this lead battle. Kendall Tucker, he's still in that same spot. He's in 7th with Avila trying to pass him, and Avila gets by him for the moment, but they have got a long road ahead of them to get up to Augustine, Majulis, Winter, any more positions within the top 10. 2 laps to go, and Rumsey is looking in his rearview mirror and loving to see the 20 getting smaller.
absolutely wants to keep it there as well. Forster fighting for a top 10 spot in the points as well. This is big for him as they come to the white.
Logan Rumsey staring at a championship in the World of Outlaws Pro Series. Knew the assignment coming into tonight. And at the world's greatest dirt track and in the sprint cars, feature race win number 3 for Logan Rumsey. He goes into Charlotte with a commanding points lead and one hand on the World of Outlaws Pro Series Championship.
And it was, the lead was almost gifted to him after that battle up in front. Goes through, picks up the lead, makes the gap on Aiden Forster, and he is going to park it in victory lane.
1 late model feature win, now 2 sprint car feature wins, and he's gonna park it on the stage at the Big E in his rightful spot. Logan Rumsey came into tonight with a good points lead. He's gonna leave tonight with an even better points lead. Kendall Tucker ended up in 8th. Avila was able to get by him. We'll update you on the points as quickly as we are able to. But Logan Rumsey visits victory lane tonight from Eldora. Aiden Forster, Evan C., Ethan Winter, and Blake Majulis, after missing the feature at Fairbury, comes back with the top 5 in the sprint cars. Mike Augustine, Ryan Avila, Kendall Tucker, James Edens, Kenny Hoffman through to the edge of the top 10. Aiden Beerline, Tyler Shell, JD Brown, who had the quick time in qualifying, ends up P13. Sean English, Ty Showblock through the top 15. Robbie Buchanan Jr., last week's winner in the late models, ends up 16th. Blake Carrick, Matthew Powell, Adam Elby, both of those two ended up with contact in that feature. They finished 17th and 18th, or 18th and 19th respectively, excuse me. Blake Bernier finished in 20th, and Dylan Yeager, who had issues on the opening lap of this race after contact with Adam Elby in the 74, ends up 21st. And at the tail end of the field, Ashton, what a night and what a championship that we have facing us for next week at Charlotte. 78 points, the gap between our top 2. It's not over, but Rumsey's playing with house money.
Exactly. Logan Rumsey, 78 points ahead. Dylan Yeager, 2 of 4 behind Rumsey. JD Brown, 22 out. Ryan Avila, 271 out. Going to next week, Kendall Tucker is going to have a perfect week, and Logan Rumsey is going to have some bad luck on his side in order for anyone to tackle the 41 machine, who sits in victory lane right now. What a great run out of Logan Rumsey. We'll catch up with him in just a couple moments as he gets in his last celebrations and picked up another win. And speaking of the man himself, Logan Rumsey picked up another win, 3rd on the season. Eldora Speedway, so unpredictable. How did you hang up there in the front for all 35 laps?
Yeah, I don't really know. We just had a really good car there. You never really know what's going to happen at Eldora. The track was actually pretty racy there at the start. And it was kind of hectic there. There was, right on the first lap, a car spun right across my screen, and I almost thought I was going to wreck. But after that, we just started picking cars off. The car was unbelievably fast, and we were just, usually you can't just blow past people like that, but we were able to, and just slowly got up front, got the 3rd, and sadly Adam got spun out there. But thankfully we were running a turn down line, and we got by him there without. If I would have been running the top, I would have drove right into him. So thank God we didn't get involved in that. But after that, we were just hanging on. Just Aiden's pretty good at this kind of track, so it was pretty cool to hold him off there.
Points are kind of the name of the game now at this point in the season. You're leading the points right now going into the last week. How huge is this for you and your Alpha Industries team? And are you confident going into next week at the dirt track at Charlotte that you can wrap up this championship?
Yeah, it was definitely huge to get a good run tonight. Last year Evan came into the last 2 races and got tore up in both of them and ended up barely. He almost lost it to me, but it's great to just get through this second to last race, and makes the last one a lot less nerve-wracking. Still anything can happen, so we still got to put laps in and just do the best we can, but we should be all right.
Well, congratulations on another win, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Logan Rumsey leads the points right now and picks up the win at the Big E Speedway, Eldora Speedway. Coming home with a second place run, Aiden Forster out of the Majula C Speed Shop Camp. second place run is nothing to hang your head on. It's also the first podium of the year for you. How are you feeling after tonight's 35-lap feature?
Yeah, I'm happy to finally get a podium. This year's been a struggle. We've had a lot of bad luck, a lot of speed, just bad luck, and good to finally get a podium. I didn't think we would have gotten this late in the season after the season we had last year, but I'm glad we finally got out of the way. And
do you think if you maybe had a couple more laps or another caution or something, you could have done something else to walk home with the win?
Yeah, I think if we got a caution, probably with like 10 to go, I could have had some for them. We started catching them there, and then made a little mistake in 3 and 4, and gave up some speed. But car was really good tonight. I can't think Evan and Blake. Car was great. So we're gonna go to Charlotte, and hopefully we can cap off with a top 10 points.
Well, there you go. Congratulations on a great run. Aiden Forrester with a second place finish tonight at Eldora Speedway, and rounding out the podium, Evan C. himself. Great run. We saw you in a heat race earlier. You made a hard charge through the field up to third. How good did that 33 machine feel?
Oh yeah, we had a fast piece tonight. Then we had 5 teammates in the top 10, or 5 of us in the top 10. So we definitely had a good pace, and just kind of picking and choosing my way up through the field there, and we got damage on the right front early on from sliding somebody and getting into the wall, which slowed us down a little bit, but it was still fast after that. Get up to third there. I'm not sure if it was going to be able to get Aiden and Logan with that damage, but it was still happy to come from 11th up to third in there. Just I wish we could have hit that invert and it's 200 off in qualifying to have started pole, but this is how it is, and see if next week if we can at least start up front and have a shot at winning one of these before our season's over.
You've had an up and down season for sure, but it's starting to come around a little bit. What do you think has contributed to that sort of success that you found here towards the back half of the season?
I don't know. I think we just had a couple just bad qualifyings and beginning of the season, and that kind of put us behind. And we definitely had better qualifying past first 3 weeks. We did a better job at that, but the guys up in points have pretty much qualified good every week and at least finished the race. And we got wrecked out, I think, a couple, or didn't make the show, so that hurt us a little bit. But looking forward to next week at Charlotte. I think we have pretty good pace there, so we'll see what we can do.
Well, congratulations on a great run tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Evan C. rounds out the podium tonight at Eldora Speedway. Guys, it was nothing less than exciting. Josh, tell us those final thoughts on that insane race we just watched.
Well, for one final round of the sprint cars, I think that was the only way to send us out on the season of the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. But up next, Ashton, season finale, the dirt track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're back to the super late models, and we're going to make history. We're going to crown a champion in this new format of the World of Outlaws Pro Series, and I cannot wait to cap off the season the only way we really know how, and that is with excitement and with some great racing.
Exactly. And qualifying for that starts tomorrow night. It'll be 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at 8 p.m. So if you have a Dirt A-Class license on iRacing, come on out and join us and try to qualify for the season finale next week. Tim, last race in the sprint cars, Eldora Speedway. It was the perfect recipe, and we saw an exciting 35 laps.
Yeah, definitely lived up to the hype, and we're getting ready to see one more in the late models next week to crown a champion. Down to 2. It's either going to be Logan Rumsey or Kendall Tucker. Tucker's got to work on that qualifying to try to get a little bit closer, but we'll see what happens. Get out there, qualify for this race, and we might see you next Monday.
Exactly. One more race on the 2024-2025 season, and that's at the dirt track at Charlotte with the late models. For Tim Terry and Josh Lee, I'm Ashton Smythe. We'll see you next week with the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing.